Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's News Studios. I'm Lankas Ananda.
I'm Win Hitcharachi, and today is the 2nd of May, and here are today's headlines.
Special honours conferred on 5 senior lawyers. Merchandise export performance for the month increases. Coconut-related product exports earn revenue of 19,131 million rupees. Estate workers appreciate the decision taken by the president to increase the daily wage. Sri Lanka's official reserves surpass $5 billion. 2 suspects arrested with narcotics worth of 150 million rupees. The United States alleged Russian forces for using chemical weapons in the Ukraine war. We move on to those and other stories in detail, and we begin with local news.
On today's top story, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has conferred the honour of senior instructing attorneys at law to 5 senior attorneys. Accordingly, this special honour has been conferred to Special Attorneys at Law Dr. J.M. Swaminathan, D.M. Swaminathan, G.G. Arulaprakasham, H.R.A.D.P. Gunathilaka. For the first time in history, they were conferred with the senior instructing attorneys at law honour by considering their excellence and professional conduct in the field of law.
The merchandise export performance in Sri Lanka for the month of March recorded an increase of 9.77% compared to March last year. The export performance in March has increased by 7.51% compared to the preceding month, February. The value of services exports for the month of March was $275.1 million, increasing by 8.39% over the corresponding period of 2023. Accordingly, total exports for the month of March were recorded as $1.4 billion, including merchandise and service exports.
Coconut Development Authority says the performance of coconut products related to export for the month of March recorded a revenue of 19,131 million rupees. This was revealed in a monthly report issued by the Income Earned from Coconut-Related Products and Exports. This report was handed over to Minister Mahinda Amaravira by Professor Roshan Fernando. The quantity of cocoa peat exported for garden cultivation for the month of March was 38,065 metric tons, earning a revenue of 5,725 million rupees. This is a 29% increase compared to the March of last year. The quantity of coconut shell activated carbon exports for the month of March was 5,707 metric tons, earning revenue of 4,430 million rupees. This is a 32% increase compared to March of last year. Meanwhile, the quantity of coconut meal export for the month of March was 7,059 metric tons, earning a revenue of 3,122 million rupees. This is a 49% increase compared to the March of last year, according to the Coconut Development Authority. Also, the powdered coconut milk have been increased by 93%, earning a revenue of 1,587 million rupees for the month of March. The quantity of powdered coconut milk exports was 1,153 metric tons. The coconut cream exports have increased by 88% in the March 2024 compared to March 2023, earning a revenue of 1,390 million rupees. The Coconut Development Authority has said the exports have increased with the increase of coconut harvest in Sri Lanka. The authority has indicated that earning a revenue of 19,131 million rupees from coconut-related products for exports for the month of March is a massive victory.
China assured continued support for Sri Lanka's efforts to meet the current efforts at debt restructuring and meet economic challenges. Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Shi Shenghong, made these remarks when he called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Temple Trees today. Discussions were held on the ways and means of early implementation of the agreements and memorandums of understanding reached between the two countries during the Prime Minister's official visit to China in March. The Prime Minister said the implementation of MOUs would begin a new chapter in the long-term friendship and economic cooperation between Sri Lanka and China. The Prime Minister's commitments from China, as well as investments in agriculture, renewable energy, IT, education and water supply sectors to provide long-term solutions to economic issues. Ambassador Shi Sheng-hong said he was pleased to see the resilience of Sri Lanka to overcome difficulties.
State Finance Minister Ranjit Siyamalapitia says that Sri Lanka's official reserves have surpassed $5 billion mark. He made these remarks during a media briefing. State Minister of Ranjit Siyamalapitia said that Sri Lanka's official reserves stood as $5 billion by the end of March. He said during the first quarter of 2024, the net purchases amounted to $1.2 billion. He said that in 2022, the government was unable to fulfill the daily requirements with dollar insufficiency. He said that it is a victory for the country to reach $5 billion mark from the situation in 2022. He contributed to the victory decisions taken by the government and central bank. Meanwhile, State Minister said he has decided to make payments for EPF and ETF of state workers, which have been pending for 16 years. State Minister Ranjit Siyamalapitia said that pending payments of EPF and ETF for state workers were $5 billion, which was amounting since 2008. He said that cabinet papers has been tabled at present to make the pending payments of $5 billion from the government.
700 rupees. They have said that this decision will improve their economic situation. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the government implemented a salary increase of 10,000 rupees for the government employees alongside augmenting the provisions under the Aswasunik scheme. Moreover, the private sector has followed suit by raising wages. Additionally, the surge in tourist numbers has led to a noticeable uptick in tourism income. The President said that furthermore, the government raised the daily wage of plantation workers to 1,700 rupees. He said that the government committed to addressing the challenges faced by the plantation community. Minister Manoj Nanayakara said that President Wickremesinghe emphasized the urgency of implementing this wage hike before May 1st, prompting prior notifications to estate companies many months in advance. The minister said that as these estates are government-owned, failure to provide necessary facilities would compel governmental intervention, ensuring the realization of the salary increment.
இன்றைய தினம் அதிமேதக ஜனாதிபதி கௌரவ ரணில் விக்ரமசிங்கே அவர்கள் அறிவிச்சிருக்காங்க தோட்ட மக்களுக்கு
The government issued the relevant gazette notification yesterday, increasing the daily wage of estate workers by 70%. The previous rate was at 1,000 rupees. Accordingly, with the new wage hike, the rate will now increase by 700 rupees.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed 2 new governors for the southern and northwestern provinces today. Accordingly, Lakshman Abeyewardene took oath as the governor of Southern Province before President Ranil Wickremesinghe this morning, while Nazir Ahmed was sworn in as the governor of the Northwestern Province. Secretary to the President Saman Naika was also present on this occasion. New governor of the Northwestern Province, Nazir Ahmed, called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardene today at the Temple Trees. He previously assumed ministerial portfolios for environment.
The Government Information Department in a statement has indicated that the on-arrival visa issuance system for foreign tourists arriving into Sri Lanka has been handed over to VFS Global Company through a cabinet decision. The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval for the cabinet paper presented by Minister Tiran Alas in this regard on the 11th of September last year. Ministry of Public Security has taken steps to hand over the on-arrival visa issuance system for foreign tourists arriving into Sri Lanka and the system to apply for online visa to this company based on a competitive procurement process for external entities. Accordingly, this company, as a leader in the sector for using latest technology, was selected for this task. Therefore, the Government Information Department emphasizes that the reports pertaining to the issuance of visas for foreigners which have been completely handed over to a foreign company are baseless, as the company has only been allocated with the functions to provide necessary facilities for the visa issuance processes.
Police Special Task Force has arrested 2 suspects along with 150 million rupees worth of narcotics and 1.5 million rupees worth of cash. The relevant arrest was made near Sri Jawaharlal University during a raid conducted on a tip-off. Accordingly, the police took over 13 kilograms of heroin, over 6 kilograms of harsh narcotics and 539 grams of cocaine into custody. Police have said the motor vehicle which was used to transport narcotics by the suspects was also apprehended. The suspects have been identified as 51 and 45-year-old residents in Pandipitia. It has been revealed that these suspects have engaged in drug smuggling by renting a house near Sri Jawaharlal University for a period of close to 2 years. The clerk attached to the Ministry of Education was previously arrested in relation to the smuggling activity. The suspects have been identified as the main drug dealers in the country, working for a major drug dealer operating from Dubai in hiding. A former police constable who had stolen batteries from vehicle parked in Piliandala Police Division has been apprehended along with narcotics. The suspect was taken into custody during a raid carried out in Miriswati area. It has been revealed that the suspect had been selling stolen batteries at a lower rate and used those funds to buy narcotics.
State Minister Lohan Ratwat emphasizes that the Mahaweli Authority will not tolerate any illegal activities on its land. He conveyed these views during his attendance at the press conference held at the Presidential Media Centre today under the theme Collective Path to a Stable Country. State Minister Lohan Ratwat noted that efforts to address issues concerning the lands owned by the Mahaweli Authority have been prioritized alongside the implementation of the Urumaya program. The State Minister highlighted that the Urumaya program, implemented under the guidance of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, holds significant importance. He said already approximately 25,000 freehold deeds have been successfully issued under the program. He added that arrangements have been made to distribute freehold deeds to an additional 6,000 individuals in the Polonnaruwa district by the end of this week.
Traditional pandals instead of handmade ones due to the increase in material cost. Shahan Bulat Sinhala of professional artists involved in creating handmade pandal artworks. Even though the pandals were immensely popular among masses several years back, the situation has changed completely at present. Shahan emphasizes that he continues to engage in his craft amid many difficulties due to the immense satisfaction he gains out of the profession. However, he points out that pandal painters are gradually leaving the profession due to issues existing in the field. Meantime, the token strike of government executive workers, the public who visited the examination department, faced severe administration. Trade unions said that token strike will remain effective today and tomorrow. Reports have indicated the students facing GCE ordinary level examination, those who are expected to migrate and face teachers' interviews, as well as many who have applied for employment, have been severely inconvenienced due to this token strike. A name board has also been exhibited at the examination department, mentioning that the operations of the department will not be functioning due to the strike action.
Colombo Chief Magistrates Court ordered the directors of the pyramid scheme on Max DT to prepare a process to pay back the victims who had invested in their company. The relevant order was issued when the claim was taken up before Colombo Chief Magistrate Tilina Gamage. The 4 directors of the company who were released on bail recently appeared before the court. The Criminal Investigation Department informed the court that a total of 345 complaints have been received pertaining to the case. They further informed that information pertaining to many individuals connected to this case has been unveiled and requested the courts to issue overseas ban against 6 suspects. Accordingly, the magistrate issued an order banning overseas travel against the relevant suspects. The courts ordered to reconvene the case on the 28th.
Now for a look at few local items in brief. 2 suspects who were transporting cattle in an illegal manner were taken into custody in Tanamalavila area. Police have said the suspects were taken into custody when they were illegally transporting cattle from Balaharua in Tanamalavila to Kalmune in a lorry. The suspects are expected to be produced before Vellavaya Magistrates Court. Minister Prasanna Rantunga has indicated that over 2,500 million rupees have been allocated for 2,254 development projects in Gampha district. The minister instructed officials during the district coordinating committee meeting held at the Gampha district secretariat to complete the projects by July 31st. Former Foreign Minister of Norway and Presidential Advisor on Global Climate Change, Erik Slonheim, has said the freedom and the happiness experienced by people in Northern Province is commendable. He made these remarks while engaging in an observational tour in the Northern Province. Governor of the province, PSM Charles, briefed the Presidential Advisor Solheim on the programs implemented. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
වායු සමනය සෙල්සියස් අංශක 26 තබමු. අංශකයකින් උෂ්ණත්වය අඩු කළ විට 4%කින් විදුලිය වැයවීම ඉහළ යනවා. අඛණ්ඩ විදුලි සැපයුමකට සහාය වෙමු.
Welcome back on Foreign News. The United States has accused Russia of deploying chemical weapons in Ukraine in violation of international laws banning their use. The United States has accused Russia of using the choking agent chloropicrin against Ukrainian soldiers and deploying riot control agents as a method of warfare in Ukraine. In a statement, the United States Department of State said that the use of such chemicals is not an isolated incident. The department further said that it is probably driven by Russian forces' desire to dislodge Ukrainian forces from fortified positions and achieve tactical gains on the battlefield. These allegations would contravene the Chemical Weapon Convention.
At least 10 people have died and more than 20 are missing after storms caused flooding in Brazil's southern state of Rio Grande do Sul. Foreign media reports that around 1,500 people are stranded. Authorities tallied over 3,400 displaced individuals in the wake of the storm that led to rising river levels and flooding in various parts of the state, affecting 140 municipalities. The local government is warning that the situation is critical and could deteriorate further. Helicopters are flying over the region searching for people who have been stranded. In some areas, the flooding is so severe that helicopters have been unable to land and have had to winch residents to safety. Accordingly, the state governor, storms have caused the most extensive devastation in the state in recent years, leaving several towns isolated after bridges collapsed and roads were destroyed amid floods and mudslides.
China's newest, largest and most advanced aircraft carrier, the Fujian, took a big step in joining the world's largest naval fleet recently. The naval assessment is expected to take place in the East China Sea, about 130 kilometers from the Jiangnan shipyard, where the carrier has been under construction for more than 6 years. The warship was launched in 2022 and has completed its mooring trials, outfitting, work and equipment adjustments, working up to the latest sea trials. With a displacement of 80,000 metric tons, the Fujian drafts in People's Liberation Army Navy's 2 active carriers, the 66,000-ton Shandong and the 60,000-ton Liaoning. Only the United States Navy operates bigger aircraft carriers than Fujian. The Fujian's key feature is an electromagnetic catapult system that will enable it to launch larger and heavier aircraft than the Shengdong and Liangning, which use the ski jump style launch method. On sports news, Sri Lanka women's cricket team managed to qualify for the semi-finals of the ICC T20 Women's Cricket World Cup qualifiers after defeating Uganda yesterday. The match was played in Abu Dhabi. Batting first, Sri Lanka scored 154 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in their innings. Vishnu Gunaratne was not out 73. Hasini Pereira scored 30 runs while captain Shamari Atapattu scored 24.
Some whipping off, and there's going to be a misfield.
Teenager will bring up a 7th career T20 under-19 captain, bringing up half-century off of 51.
In response, Uganda only managed to gather 87 runs in 19 overs. Accordingly, Sri Lanka won the match by 67 runs. Inako Ratnavira, Hasni Gimhani and Kavisha Gilhari picked up 2 wickets each. Sri Lanka qualified for the semi-finals as an unbeaten side after securing 3 victories in the group stage. Sri Lanka will face against the United States in their final group stage match. And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Dhananjali together with Uwin signing off. Good night.
Good night.